How's it going, Oddly Squad? Oddly Majestic, and today, guys, I am very excited because I get to announce the winner to the Yu-Gi-Oh! Mystery Box giveaway on this video today. But before I announce the winner, I'm actually going to respond to a couple emails I've gotten. How do I play my Blue Eyes White Dragon deck? And tough question. I literally have played the Blue Eyes White Dragon in almost every way possible. I got 9 different decks for Blue Eyes. So I just asked myself what deck I use the most, and it'd be this one, the one that I used to play against my friends. But you know, this is really not a deck that I say, you know, copy this deck and take it to a tournament. You'll do great. It's not that kind of deck. This is kind of one of those decks where you just lay back and just have fun with the friends, you know. And yeah, let's check out this beautiful mess I got in here. Alright, so this deck contains a total of 42 cards in my deck and 9 in my extra deck. So first things first, the heart and soul of the entire deck is, of course, 3 copies of Blue Eyes White Dragon. I really love this artwork from the movie pack. Really dig it. So heart and soul of the entire deck. You know, you're gonna have a Blue Eyes White Dragon deck, you're gonna have 3 copies of Blue Eyes White Dragon. Alright, so next I have 3 copies of Blue Eyes Alternate White Dragon. You know, having a Blue Eyes White Dragon deck also means you really gotta have Blue Eyes White Dragons to have more fusions, and this card definitely helps out with that. It does become Blue Eyes White Dragon while it's on the field or the graveyard. But apart from that, I mean, summon him is so easy. Just by revealing a Blue Eyes White Dragon from your hand, you can special summon him, and his effect is pretty nuts too. If your opponent controls a monster, he can destroy a monster on your opponent's side of the field, but when that effect is activated, he cannot attack on it during the same turn. I also like to have 3 copies of Dragon Spirit of White in the deck. This is actually how I deal with spell and traps. Just by summoning or special summoning this card, I can banish 1 spell or trap card my opponent controls on his side of the field, which is awesome. Also, if my opponent controls a monster, I can tribute this guy and special summon a Blue Eyes White Dragon from my hand. So I mean, talk about double the trouble right there. Now, I actually play 1 copy of Blue Eyes Chaos Max Dragon and 1 copy of Blue Eyes Chaos in the deck. I used to have 3, but I just narrowed it down to 1 of each just because it got to a point where, you know, I just dedicated the deck around these guys, and summoning them was way too easy and I was just winning. Now, for anybody that doesn't know, Blue Eyes Chaos Max Dragon, when he attacks a defense position monster, I do double piercing damage. Also, he cannot be destroyed or targeted by any of my opponent's card effects, which is awesome. Now, Chaos Dragon is pretty similar. He also cannot be targeted with card effects, nor can be destroyed by card effects. And if he's a ritual summon with a Blue Eyes White Dragon, when Chaos declares an attack, you can change the battle position as many monsters your opponent controls as possible. And if you do, the attack and defense of those changed monsters becomes 0. Now next, I actually play 1 Deep Eyes White Dragon. Since I run a lot of Blue Eyes monsters here, if one of them would be destroyed by battle or some kind of effect, and I have a dragon monster in my graveyard, which most likely I will, I can literally summon this guy from my hand, and I can inflict 600 life point damage for every different name dragon monster from my graveyard to my opponent's life points, which is already badass. And if that's not even good enough, I can take one of those dragon monsters from my graveyard's attack and convert it over here to this guy. And last but not least, another effect. If he would be destroyed by a card effect, I can destroy every single monster my opponent has. So he kind of has a Raigeki effect, which is pretty cool. Really like having this guy. Next, I actually played 2 Maiden with Ice and Blue. Very common card, a lot of people know her. You know, she's literally just a Blue Eyes White Dragon summoner. She can negate attacks, and you know, her position will change, and I'll summon a Blue Eyes from either my hand, graveyard, or deck, which is good enough. And if she would be destroyed by a card effect, pretty much the same thing, which is freaking sweet. Now, if Maiden with Eyes of Blue doesn't cut it, I actually like to play 2 copies of White Stone of Agents. During the end phase, it was sent to the graveyard. You can special summon 1 Blue Eyes monster from my deck, which I mean, literally, It could be a blue eyes white dragon, or it can be that dragon spirit of white, which you know, can end up leading to those troublesome spell or trap cards, and just, you know, getting rid of them if I get that chance. But you know, awesome effect. Also a quick effect, not quick effect, secondary effect. I can banish that card from the graveyard and, you know, return a blue eyes white dragon from the graveyard to my hand. Next, I actually have two White Stone of Legend, pretty similar to White Stone of Ancients. If it's sent to the graveyard, get one blue eyes white dragon from my deck to my hand. Now, this is probably my only defensive card that I like to have, and that would be a Keeper of the Shrine. This card literally is just freaking awesome, in my opinion. This card can be treated as a 2 tributes for a tribute summon of a dragon type monster while this card is in your hand or graveyard. If a face up dragon type monster on the field, except Keeper of the Shrine, is sent to the graveyard by a card effect, or because it was destroyed by battle, you can special summon this card. Then if that monster was sent to your graveyard, is a normal monster, which most likely it will be a blue eyes white dragon, you know, so I can add one dragon type normal monster from your graveyard to your hand. Even though you can use this effect once per turn, I mean, when that happens, I mean, you get into this freaking cycle where literally, you know, you can just almost infinitely be having a blue eyes in your hand and summoning him because of his effect, which is pretty nuts. Now next, I actually like to play Keeper of Dragon Magic. Great help for getting polymerization cards into my hand, and also it has effect where you discard a card to get that card. If I discard a card, obviously you want to discard something like White Stone of Ancient or White Stone of Legend, which, you know, either one's a win-win right there. Also, this card can help out with revealing one fusion monster from your extra deck, and if one of those fusion materials is in the graveyard, you can special summon them in defense position. And when that effect is activated, you cannot special summon from the extra deck during that turn. But amazing card to have, and, you know, again, in my opinion. Next, I actually play Dragon Knight of the Creation. You know, it's been a while since I've seen this card get played a lot. I'm not sure if it still does, but you know, I like playing him. He makes the game interesting and fun. When this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, you can send one level 7 or 8 dragon type monster from your deck to the graveyard. You can send one card from your hand to the graveyard, then target one level 7 or 8 monster that's a dragon from your graveyard, and then send this card to the graveyard. And if you do special summon that monster, you can then use the effect of Dragon Knight of Creation once per turn. So I mean, he is literally a good dragon summoner if you have the materials in the graveyard just ready. If not, you know, he'll help you get there. Now next, I play 2 copies of Manchu of the 10,000 Hands. I mean, this is my secret for my ritual monsters and ritual spell cards. Great help, great support. Gotta have him in there if you're gonna have ritual monsters. Like I said, this is a casual deck, so, you know, I do have some ban cards in here, but keeps the game fun. And I play 1 copy of Magician of Faith. I have a lot of spell cards in here, so it's always nice to have a card like this in the deck if you're gonna run a lot of spell cards. Definitely helped me get any needed spell card back from the graveyard to my hand, so she's a great addition to this deck. You guys just heard me say I do run a lot of spell cards, and not too many trap cards, but I do play 1 Ash Blossom and 1 Ghost Ogre. Ash Blossom can negate the effects from a card that adds a card from a deck to the hand, special summon from the deck, or send a card from the deck to the graveyard. So by discarding her, she can negate any of those kinds of effects. And Ghost Ogre, she can negate, you know, spell or trap cards that already face up on the field, and, you know, by discarding her, you can negate effects like that. Great cards to have in any deck, and if you guys are competitive, definitely have 3 of each in my opinion, but that's just coming from me again. Hey everyone, before I get digging into the spell cards in my deck, I got one quick thing to say. Not only in this video am I choosing a winner for the giveaway, but I actually chose another winner. Not a huge prize, something small just to show my appreciation. I mean, everyone was great. You all commented, and I heard so many great interesting things about what decks you guys like to use, and, you know, I had some pretty nice conversations with a few of you. If I did not respond to your comment in that video, I do apologize. Like I said, everybody was great, so I chose another winner. Small price. So King Bob, my man, right below in the description of this video, I will have my Facebook or email. Shoot me a message, claim that prize, buddy. Alright everyone, so moving forward with the spell cards, I like to play 2 copies of Melody of a Waking Dragon. This card allows me to discard 1 card and add up to 2 dragons with a attack of 3000 or more, or defense of 2500 or less. I mean, if you get rid of any of the stone cards, you literally control the Blue Eyes world. Also, I like to have 1 cards of consonants. Discard 1 Dragon Tuner. Again, any of those freaking stone cards, and I get to draw 2 cards. Next, I like to play 1 Dragon of Shrine. This card allows me to send 1 dragon type monster from my deck to the graveyard, but if it's a normal dragon, I get to send another dragon type monster from my deck to the graveyard. A great help, especially when you're running off of those Ancient Stones or Legend of Stones. Now, these next spell cards that I have are all fusion related. I run 1 Polymerization, 1 Future Fusion, and a Dragon's Mirror, also a Defusion. I mean, I run a lot of fusion monsters. Regular Polymerization, you just, regular fusion. Future Fusion, if I have the material in my deck, when I activate this, send it to the graveyard, and on my second standby, I special summon a fusion monster, and it gets equipped to this spell card. And if I have these 2 guys in my hand, this guy banishes material needed for a fusion summon, and by banishing that, you get another fusion monster. And even better, if I have all these guys, I just activate this quick spell Defusion, and bam, I get most likely 3 Blue Eyes, apart from a fusion monster, which is just nuts. I mean, I like having combos like that. They take a while to happen, but when they happen, it's sweet. Now next, I have a Chaos form for my ritual monsters. Just ritual summon, nothing special about it. I keep Return of the Dragon Lords, good effect. I can target 1 level 7 or 8 dragon monster from my graveyard, special summon it. And also, it's kind of a backup to my dragons as well. If a dragon would be destroyed by battle or card effect, I can banish this card from the graveyard and he will not be destroyed. Now, Silver's Cry, amazing card. I get to target 1 normal dragon from my graveyard, special summon him. What's cool about this, not just because it's a quick effect and I can get Blue Eyes from the graveyard quick, but also I can go back to Dragon Spirit of White. I mean, since he can be treated as a normal monster while he's in my hand or in the graveyard, so good right there. Gotta love these cards. Last spell card, I actually run 1 Shrink. I mean, so Kaiba, right? You gotta have some kind of defense, I guess. I mean, I don't use it that much, but when I do, man, do I do damage. For my trap cards, they're plain and simple. 3 copies of the Ultimate Creature of Destruction and a Blue Eyes White Dragon deck. This is literally a must-have, and I don't care what anybody says. I actually believe you always have to have 3 of these. Literally protects your Blue Eyes monsters from being targeted or destroyed by card effects, or even destroyed by battle. And if it would get into a battle with a stronger monster, when you activate this, that card is destroyed but not your Blue Eyes. So it's nuts. And even after you use this card and it's in the graveyard, I mean, if you special summon or normal summon a Blue Eyes White Dragon, you can set this card back down from your graveyard to the field. Alright everyone, before I get to my extra deck, I actually have another announcement. And now, Mighty Leg, sir, you too will win something. So right below, hit me up, send me a message, Facebook or email. But alright, right before we get to the main winner for the giveaway, let's run right through my extra deck. So for my extra deck, I'm starting off with 2 copies of Assure Eye Silver Dragon. When he's normal or special summon, he can target normal monsters from my graveyard and special summon him. So, once per turn, literally Blue Eyes, what else would you want? Or even Dragon Spirit of White. And again, that freaking effect he carries where you can banish spell or trap cards. And he also protects pretty much dragons from being targeted by card effects and being destroyed. Next, I like to play 1 Blue Eye Spirit Dragon. It's a great card to go up against those decks where they can summon more than 2 monsters during 1 turn. And so he negates that effect. Very helpful. Also, I can tribute him and summon another light dragon type sacral monster from my extra deck and defense position. Now next, I mean, I gotta have 1 classic Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, so there's that. Now next, I like to have Blue Eyes Twin Burst Dragon. Very awesome card against pesky monsters that you cannot defeat. Any monster that battles him, he cannot be destroyed, but he can banish any monster that he battles with. Also, he can make up to 2 attacks if my opponent has 2 monsters. And the coolest thing is I don't even need polymerization to special summon this guy, as long as I have the material. Now next, I played 3 copies of Neo Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. So why 3? This guy is freaking awesome. I love this card. You know what? I'm just gonna read the entire thing, and I mean, this guy's just crazy. At the end of the damage dip, if this card is the only face-up monster you control and this fusion summon card attack, you can send 1 Blue Eyes fusion monster from your extra deck to the graveyard. This card can attack again in a row. You can use the effect of Neo Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon up to twice per turn during either player's turn. When a card or effect is activated that targets a Blue Eyes monster you control, you can banish this card from your graveyard and get the activation, and if you do, destroy that card. So I mean, literally, I mean, this guy pretty much sets himself up if it's the only monster you control by sending these guys to the graveyard, and you know, if he lives through it and your opponent does as well, you got that protection with these 2 cards in the graveyard. I mean, this is a flawless combo. I love this combo. My last fusion monster is none other than Blue Eyes Alternative Ultimate Dragon. I actually already got the 3 of these from the other sarcophagus tins that I opened. Never made it to my YouTube channel, but since I already got so much going on, I mean, I just kept it to 1. And just like a alternative White Dragon, he can destroy 1 card my opponent controls, so it can be any card on his field, but if you fusion him with 3 alternatives, I get to destroy 3 cards from my opponent's side of the field. I mean, that is nuts. Gotta have this guy. Alright everybody, so this is my casual deck that I use a lot. So I hope you enjoyed the deck, but what we all been waiting for, the winner to the giveaway, Nerd Cactus. Alright everyone, awesome. So Nerd Cactus, you win the Yu-Gi-Oh! Mystery Box giveaway. So you took first place in that giveaway, second place goes to Mighty Leg, and third place goes to King Bob. So all 3 of you guys, below in the description, hit me up, Facebook, message me, or even email me. And I hope you guys enjoy this, and congrats to the main winner and the 2 surprise winners. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and Oddly Majestic, signing off.